surprise every time we buy the lie. Whoa. Why don't we pursue the truth even when it's hard to do? Whoa. And all we want is to believe it's okay if we slightly deceive. Maybe we're missing the point that we're listening to liars and thieves. Whoa, then but you just won't break. Whoa, some things will never change. Why are we so slow to say they figured out another way? Whoa. Why are we so quick to judge anyone who's not like us? Whoa. And all we want is to believe it's okay if we're slightly deceived. Maybe we're missing the point that we're listening to liars and thieves. Whoa, then but you just won't break. Whoa, some things will never change. You said that you would never be in lockstep, walking with the rest of them. I better recognize if there is anything left of you, and I want something more. Whoa, then but you just won't break. Whoa, some things will never change. Whoa, then but you just won't break. Whoa, some things will never change.
Hello,
Hi, is this Kevin?
this is Kevin. Is this Trevor?
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, sir? Thank you for talking to me today. Appreciate it.
I'm good. Yeah, no sweat. No sweat.
Awesome. So I'm just going to jump right in. I'm sure you got a ton of other things that you'd rather be doing. So you guys initially broke up, and I was trying to find the article. I couldn't find the article, but it was something to do with you guys, something to do with the state of the punk scene back when you guys broke up, having to do with you guys breaking up. Is that accurate?
Not really.
Okay.
I like to spin my own brand of revisionist history about that now, and we refer to that as a hiatus.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm being a smartass. We did bill it as a breakup at the time, and it really didn't have as much to do with the state of punk rock as it just did with us feeling like we had a great run as a band, and we kind of wanted to go out on the high notes, and we weren't really sure what the next step for the band would be. And I know Scott and I had a bunch of stuff we wanted to do that didn't involve face-to-face, and we wanted the opportunity to pursue that. And I think, you know, we'd like to think of it as a hiatus, although we didn't call it one at the time, but that's really all we needed. You know, I think we would have been better served to just say, hey, we're going to take a couple years off face-to-face and go pursue some different projects. And what ended up happening is once we got those projects sort of not out of our system, but once we had the time to realize those, you know, we started going, man, face-to-face was something that was really special, and not only for us, you know, selfishly as people, but it meant something to a lot of the fans that have been sticking with us for so many years. And it just didn't make any sense at one point to not do it anymore, because we all got along with each other. We all stayed in touch during the hiatus/breakup, and it just seemed natural to get back together and play songs again. But it happened incrementally. You know, we didn't intend to make records and go back into it full bore. You know, initially it was like, yeah, we'll do a show, we'll do 2 shows, we'll do a tour, and then we'll do a record. So it's all kind of been, you know, organically progressing.
Okay. Now you've got the new record coming out. Is it this Friday? No, next Friday.
Next Friday,
yeah,
March 1st.
Why did you name the album Protection?
Well, we didn't start out with an album title when we wrote the record. I just wrote, a series of lyrics for different songs, and there wasn't any real underlying theme that tied it together. So we kind of had to reverse engineer a theme for the record once it was finished. And so just going back through all the songs, and the energy and the kind of general vibe, Protection seemed to be the one that made the most sense, because a lot of the songs deal with either internal or external forces that we all deal with as individuals that put us under a lot of pressure and create drama in our lives. And the concept of protection, I thought, was a good one, because it speaks to that, and it's a perceived value. Protection is, because it's something that we sort of tell ourselves to feel better about life, but
right.
The truth of the matter is you can only be so protected. So I kind of like the false kind of hope that goes behind the theme, and that's what I love about the artwork too. It's like, you're on the cover, you feel protected because you're behind this door with all these padlocks, and then you flip the back over it, but there's an open window on the other part of the house.
Right.
You're not really. It's a perception thing,
Okay.
And I like that, because a lot of the lyrics deal with personal struggle and, like I said, internal and external things that we're dealing with as people on a daily basis. So it's really just about life, living, and what comes with it.
Okay. Now, the response for your first two singles off the album, Double Crossed and Bent But Not Broken, have been pretty overwhelmingly positive. Is this something you guys anticipated, or are you guys kind of surprised at how stoked people are getting on this?
I don't. That's a loaded question. If I say it, then I was surprised that I'm saying I didn't think people would like it. But if I say I wasn't, then that sounds arrogant.
Well, I just mean like Bent Not Broken. Like the first time I listened to Bent Not Broken, like it's like instantly like, holy shit, this is a fucking rad song. And did you get that feeling like when you're in the studio recording, like, or like even like rehearsing and practicing it before the studio, like going like, shit, this is going to be pretty rad?
Yeah. Yes, that I can answer. And
okay.
It did feel there was a good energy, like, making the record. I live in Nashville, and the rest of the band is in California. So the process for writing the songs, we weren't all in the same room together. So we weren't able to capture that kind of lightning in a bottle feeling when everyone's together and you're just riffing ideas off each other. It was a little more slow, the progression, where I would demo up some stuff, send it to Scott. Scott would demo things, send them to me, and then he would work on those ideas, and I would work on my ideas, kind of independent of one another. But at one point, we felt like we had enough ideas individually, and that we'd each worked on, that when we did finally all get in a room together and start playing these things, everybody was like elevated to a whole other level of excitement and enthusiasm for making the record. And that, going into the blasting room and being able to share all that again with Bill, and having Bill get stoked about the songs too, just took everything up to another level. So I hope that for the people that ever liked our band, when they hear this record, it's not surprising to me. I hope that they like it, because I think it's maybe the best punk rock record we've made in our career.
Mm-hmm.
So that part of it I really love. I love that people are getting it along with us, with feeling the same enthusiasm for it. But I wasn't, whenever there has been a negative comment here or there about it, it's usually not anything about the song or the playing or anything. It's something snide about someone's beard in a picture, or other sort of just irrelevant things. So it feels good knowing that most people that are fans of punk rock or that are familiar with our band are like stoked to have a record that they think fit. We didn't make a challenging record this time, and we've made records in our catalog that were outside of the scope of what we do, what people know us for doing. So this one is kind of back in, I think, a zone
a side note, how did you end up in Nashville? From being from Southern California.
Yeah, I never really considered that I would move anywhere else besides California, but about, 7 or 8 years ago, I started thinking about Nashville. Some friends of mine that had already lived here were telling me about it and singing the praises of Nashville, and I was a little skeptical, so I came out and visited. As a band, we never really played. I think we played Nashville once, maybe around 2001 or 2, something like that. Or maybe even before that. But when I came out and saw it for myself, I think I came out here first maybe in 2009 or 10, and it was really, really cool, and I liked it a lot. And I was a little bit just burned on the traffic and the some of the more negative stuff about living in Southern California, with overcrowded as it is. And we just thought we'd try to change a pace, so we came out here. Now Nashville's getting crowded, so you can't go anywhere. I'm gonna have to go to Montana or something to escape the crowd.
Yeah, where do you go when Nashville gets crowded?
Yeah, but it's been good. I've been here for about 6 years now, and it's great. It's a great place to live. It's really cool.
Okay. Now going back to the face-to-face, you're at the Triple Crown shows. You had Dennis Hill playing guitar with you. Does he play on Protection, and is he an official fourth member of Face to Face?
He does play on Protection. In terms of him being an official fourth member, I don't really see any need to make any official press release or anything about that. I think kind of the deal is this: is like, right before the band ended up taking our quote-unquote hiatus, we were playing as a three-piece mostly, and we'd made How to Ruin Everything as a three-piece and toured that record, and that was kind of the last thing we did before we went on a break for a while. So when we reformed, we were stoked to have Chad playing guitar back for us again, and it felt great to be a four-piece. Like I said, things happened incrementally for us when we started playing shows again, and there wasn't a plan like, all right, the band's reformed and we're going to go do these shows to make a record. It was kind of just like one thing at a time. So before too long, we found ourselves doing shows or having shows booked, and Chad was like, I can't commit to the amount of shows that you guys are booking. So we're like, yeah, fuck it, we'll go play the three-piece again. And it just felt like that wasn't the best version of the band,
right,
given our entire career, and we really wanted that kind of four-piece band thing back. So the fact that Chad wasn't able to do as much of the touring as we wanted to do, we just started looking around for another guy, and we found Dennis because he's a buddy of Danny's, the drummer that took over for Pete when we reformed, and there was just sort of the idea that whenever Chad wasn't available, Dennis would play. And over the years, since we've been reformed, Chad has been less and less available, and Dennis has been around more and more. So,
by default.
it's not unreasonable to expect Chad to potentially show up at a show here and there, but he's not so much of an active member of the band currently. But he's not fired, and there's no, break up or anything like that. It's just Dennis is around and Chad's not, and that's why you're seeing more and more of Dennis around.
Okay. On Protection, you worked with Bill Stevenson and Jason Livermore. What was it like working? What was it like working with them? And is there a chance you guys are going to work together again in the future?
Well, I'll answer the second part first. We would love to. We'd love to work with those guys again because we had such a great time, both working with those two guys and just being at the blasting room, and the whole environment and the experience was like super, super good. It was one of the most positive recording experiences I've ever had in the band. What it was like was different for us from any other record, because most of the other records we made, I would say maybe starting around the self-titled record, I took a producer role in the band, and Scott jumped in there right with me, I think on the self-titled record, or maybe the one after. But we worked as artist-producers on most of our records, and Chad Blindman, who engineered and mixed most of the records from like Ignorance is Bliss through, well, he did everything from Ignorance is Bliss through through to How to Ruin Everything. He would sort of contribute a little bit as a producer, but he never really got overly involved on that side of things.
Mm-hmm.
So this was really the first record where we had someone sitting in the producer seat, and Scott and I just backed way off on our roles. As a matter of fact, we're not even credited as producers on this album. We're like, we're just going to be band members on this record. And that's something that was really different about this album. And I think it was good because it allowed another creative input, into the songs, and particularly in like background vocals and some of those arrangements. Bill, having Bill's ear versus the stuff Scott and I normally, you tend to go to the same things a lot,
Right.
And having a complete outside influence there, I think, brought a whole new range and kind of depth to some of the vocal arrangements, for sure. Bill sat there and produced every single word I sang on the record, so it was cool having him work with me on that. Bill's a crazy dude, and there's a lot of energy, and it was certainly an intense experience. But I think the results show on the finished record. I mean, it came out super awesome, and we're all like really, really happy with the record. The band.
Now it's you guys are back on Fat. Is it kind of like putting on an old shoe?
Yes and no. I think it's a long time coming, and I sort of wish that, like, right after our hiatus, I would have had I wish I was smart enough to just reach out to Aaron and Mike, like, right after we reformed, but for some reason I still, didn't see how clear of a good idea that would have been, and it took me a couple records to finally go, oh, man, I should just reach out to these guys and see if they want to do our records again. But when I finally did, it was kind of like a homecoming. I mean, Aaron was really, really cool about it and responded immediately to the demos that I sent her, and she was really into it. And then Mike kind of just like fell right in line behind her. He's like, yeah, the songs are great, let's do a record. And it was just so easy, like everything was very, very easy about it. There haven't been any like negotiations or crazy business things to deal with. It's just been like, hey, do you guys want to do this? Yeah, all right, cool, let's do it. And if we don't want to do something, they don't want us to do anything we don't want to do. They've been doing it for so long, and we've been doing it for so long. There's almost just like this unspoken way of doing business that just makes everything so much easier. And to be on a label, it's a punk rock label, and to be a band that has, been a punk rock band, and we've dealt with majors and all their bullshit, and we've dealt with indies, and it's just a so much more kind of easy way of doing things. It's bullshit free, and that's what I love about it, is just not having any of the additional nonsense that comes along with dealing with high-powered labels and lawyers and all the crap.
Right.
It's been easy, and so we're stoked, and hopefully a lot of people will have the opportunity to hear the record, and it will make it directly to them as a result of being on Fat Records.
Okay. Now, so word on the street is that there are 4 tracks left over from the Protection recording sessions that didn't make it onto the album. Is this true?
I think there's only 3.
3. Okay.
Yeah.
And are there plans?
3.
Are there plans to release them as a 7-inch or otherwise?
Not at the moment, but they'll definitely be released at some point. I think when I was talking with Chad about what Fat likes to do, rather than release a single on a 7-inch before a record comes out, they'll wait until the record's been out for like 9 months or something, and then do a single to kind of remind people that the record's out. And if you missed it, check it out. The band's still touring, or all that good stuff.
Yeah,
which I think is a cool strategy. So yeah, I think you can expect to see at least one of those outtakes probably on the single that we'll do maybe 9 months or so from now, after the record's been out.
Okay. With the popularity of vinyl clearly on the rise, and there's a pretty strong demand for out-of-print face-to-face vinyl, are there any plans of repressing older face-to-face albums on vinyl, as well as releasing albums that have never been released on vinyl?
Yeah, so this is the 25th anniversary of Face to Face, and I've been planning for a long time for this year to start doing deluxe editions of the catalog on vinyl, kind of to celebrate our 25th anniversary. So I'm talking to Fat right now about doing a deluxe edition of Don't Turn Away for the 25th anniversary, because they still have that record. And then I, on my label, Antagonist, will start releasing Big Choice and Self-Titled, at least those two releases this year. And then it'll probably drag into 2017 for me to start releasing some of the other records on vinyl as well. But at least those first three are all planned to come out in 2016.
Okay.
And, you know, we're going to do like gatefolds on 180 gram vinyl, you know, good, cool audiophile, vinyl head kind of stuff.
Right.
It'll be fun to have in your record collection. I mean, Big Choice, that record, it might have only been maybe 500 copies of that on vinyl ever made. And it's mastered poorly. It sounds like dog shit. It's a really thin, like, crappy vinyl record if you can find it. And, you know, people are paying hundreds of dollars for this thing when they can find it. It makes me crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame them because it's a collector's item, I guess, just because of the scarcity. But it bums me out that it's not, like, a very good product, because that record was made as a promo record by our record label at the time, which that label doesn't even exist anymore. They went out of business a long time ago.
Okay.
So, yeah, I definitely want to, like, make some good quality versions of those albums on vinyl and get them out there. So I'm in the middle of it right now. I'm currently working.
Okay. Now,
I will say this: if you want to print it, you can expect to find that stuff to be sold, you know, directly at Kings Road Merch. We'll do bundles for those.
Okay.
So watch our Kings Road merch store over the next few months for announcements about that.
Okay. Awesome. Now, personally for you, what format do you currently listen to music in?
I listen to music on my computer and iTunes when I'm working, and you know, and my phone, and then I listen to vinyl. I don't even mess with CDs. I sold my CD collection off a long time ago. Just traded it all in to Second Spin or whatever.
Yeah.
I just don't see any real need to, like, drag around a bunch of CDs. And really, my vinyl collection is for stuff that's rare, and it's a totally different catalog of music than the stuff I have on digital. You know, like, my digital stuff is like my punk rock stuff, my rock stuff, my 80s stuff like Psychedelic Furs and the Smiths and the Cure and all that. I don't really have any of that on vinyl. Vinyl's like a jazz collection.
Okay.
Just trippy, weirder stuff, because it's easier to find it's more fun to go find records that are a little rare, you know, because you can get anything on digital.
Okay. Awesome. Now, what are some bands, like, that you're currently listening to? Are there, as far as, not old bands, but, like, what are some new bands that you're currently listening to? Or are there new bands that you're listening to?
I don't know if they're new to the world, but newer to me. I've really, like, in the last year or so, I've discovered this band Radioactivity from Dallas. That's super rad. We had the opportunity to play with them last year in Dallas, which was great. I really like this band Western Settings that we're actually playing show with coming up. Both of the bands we're playing with at Alice's Bar here on March the 5th are bands are newer bands that I love, so that's why I put them on the show.
Okay.
Western Settings from San Diego's on it, and then this other band, The Attack from Orlando, Florida, is on it. It's also super awesome. I don't know. Those are a couple that come to mind just off the top of my head. I hate when I get put on the spot because I never remember some of the other bands I'm listening to.
You hang up the phone like, the band I've actually been listening to them forever.
Beach Slang is pretty cool. I think they're good. I like Iron Chic a lot. I think they're from New Jersey, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Those are some cool, like, newer-ish bands that I think are great.
Okay. Now, when you're not touring or recording with face to face, what do you find yourself doing?
Well, I run that Antagonist record label, so that gives me a lot of work. I also have been dabbling into some television production a little bit for, like, some food-related, like, kind of shows and whatnot.
Huh.
So between the TV production and face-to-face and running the label and stuff, I stay pretty busy.
Well, awesome, man. Is there anything else you want people to know, either about yourself or anything else you might be working on?
Not at the moment.
Awesome. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, man.
Awesome. All right, thank you. Take care.
Take it easy.